All right, let's start the next lesson, and this one will be about factors and multiples. So factors and multiples. And the objective for today is to list the set of factors and multiples of a given integer. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is finding factors. All right, now a factor comes in, well, factors come in pairs. All right, every number is going to have a pair of factors. Prime numbers will have a pair of factors. I should say they should have at least one pair of factors. So here, let me just put this. So factors come in pairs. Right? And one example of the factor is, let me see, example is, let's say 12. 12 has factor pairs of, let's see, we have 1, 12, then we have 2, 6, and then we have 3, 4. Right? So these are all factors of 12 because if I take 1 and I multiply it by 12, I'm going to get 12. And if I take 2 and 6, I'll get 12. And I multiply 3 and 4, I'll get 12 as well. And because, let me just write that as a note. So because multiplying those pairs results in the original number. All right. Now, you may think to yourself that, well, these are all positive values. What about the negative values? Yes, there are also negative factors. All right. And just a little rule to remember how to deal with it is as follows. So factors can be positive and negative. So if A, I should put that in quotes, A is a factor, I should say if the number A, that's better to say, if the number A is a factor of the integer B, then negative A is, I should say, then the number, well, then negative A, I should say, negative A. Then negative A is also a factor of B. Alright, so let's show an example of that. So if I say that I want to say that, okay, so like this one here, we have 12, so we have 3 as a factor of 12, right? So since 3 is a factor of 12, then negative 3 is a factor of 12. All right, let me just, let me change the color of this. So I'll take this 3 and we'll put it in white. So 3 here, and then I'll put the negative 3 in white as well. All right, so since 3 is a factor of 12, then negative 3 should also be a factor of 12. And let me just do some examples to list the factors so that you can get it. So example of, let's say, the factors of 6. All right, let's list the factors of 6. So we have the factors of 6 are 1 by 6, since 1 times 6 will give me 6. Let's say 2 by 3, since 2 by 3 will give me 6. And then we're also going to list the negative pairs. So I'm saying negative 1, negative 6 are also factors of 6. And then negative 2, negative 3 are also factors of 6. So combined, we're going to have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, and plus or minus 6. Those are the factors of 6. What about, let's say, the factors negative 6. And that one should be a little bit interesting for you. Now you have to flip-flop in between them. So this one here, negative 1 times 6 will give me negative 6. And then negative 2 times 3 will give me negative 6. And then I have 1 times negative 6 will give me negative 6. And then 2 times negative 3 will give me negative 6. But if you look at the numbers, it's plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus, just put a colon there, plus or minus 3, and plus or minus 6. So it remains the exact same thing. Alright, so it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Now let's go on to the next one, which is the multiples. So we go here, the next note here is finding multiples. Right, and this here should be green. Right. So when you're finding multiples, generally you would find multiples of a number starting from 1, and then you multiply by consecutive natural numbers. So let's say, for example, if you have 3, then you would say 1 by 3, 2 by 3, 3 by 3, 4 by 3, and that will give you multiples of 3. So let me just put that in a note form right there, so we can say generally, to find the multiples of a number, we start with 1 and multiply the consecutive natural numbers. Alright, so let me just put this in white. And again, let me just put a little note here, a little example. So example, if I say I want the multiples of 3, if I want the multiples of 3, I would take 1 and multiply by 3, which is the first natural number. 1 is the first natural number. Let me just, you know what? Let me write it out here. 1, and then we have times 3, the next number times 3, and then the next number times 3, and then the next number times 3, and let me just write that in different colors. So this is 2 times 3, and change the color over here as well. So 1, and then 3 times 3, and then 4 times 3. If you notice the numbers in the white, these 1, 2, 3, and 4 all belong to the set of natural numbers. Alright, so the resulting multiples that you're going to get when you work that out is 3 here, 6 here, then 9 here, then 12 here, and those will be the multiples of 3. However, multiples of a number follow a particular format, right? Let me just write there. So, but multiples of a number follow the format of, let's see, it will follow the format of k, right, this in white. It will follow the format of k times n, where k is a member of the set of integers and n is the number for which you want to find the multiples. Alright, let me just change the color of these two here so I can say that's k and then n, and then I can just replace this and say k times n, so it stands out a little more. Right, and that's it. Ready for the next lesson.